Hello, and welcome back to another video. Today is going to be an intro of a reading vlog. I actually did something over the past couple of days on my reading page on my stories. I got you guys to vote for some books. Now, I didn't tell anyone what they were. Here's the catch. I coloured in the covers. I also did put four emojis on each of them. Not necessarily spelling out the title of the book, but had things to do with the book. I feel like some of them were pretty obvious. Others I feel like were not, and you had to actually think about it. What exactly was that for? Well, you can probably gather by the title now, but this is books that I have been avoiding. So come along for this reading vlog. I had 8 books to choose between because I wanted to read 4 in total in this vlog. So first, let's just do an introduction to the books. I just want to preface, originally I did have 2 different books on there. I've actually had to swap them out because didn't realize at the time, but I was doing a little read of the synopsis, doing a bit of research through Goodreads before I went and put up my polls, and I actually found out that 2 out of the 8 books that I originally had planned to pick from in this video were second books of a series. And those books were Stay by Elle Kennedy and Serena Bowen, and also Hucking Wild by Emily Rath. I don't know where these books come from. I feel like someone bought these for me for Christmas or something a couple of years ago maybe. I have been avoiding both of these. This one purely because it doesn't really like call out to me. I don't know why, and I've never actually read a book with 2 authors. Yeah, I don't know why. I just keep putting this one off. It's just not singing to my soul. Honestly, don't know if I even want to read it, especially now that I know that there is another book before it. I'm kind of considering just donating DNF. Bye-bye. And then Hucking Wild, the only reason I have been putting this one off is because I have so many sports romances at the moment that I've been reading that are hockey romance. I didn't actually know that this was part of a series. I just thought this was a standalone. Little did I know this is also a second book, so that will have to wait. These 2 were originally in the plan, but unfortunately didn't make the cut because I didn't do my research properly, and they're both second books in a series. Now on to the books that I did choose. I'm going to actually show them to you in the pairs that I put them in for people to vote on my Instagram stories. First pair that I had, and both of these books I actually got them quite close together, and they have just been sitting there and sitting there and sitting there. Honestly, I think it's the size is quite off-putting to me. First one is When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker. The second one is Quicksilver by Kelly Hart. I honestly don't know why I am avoiding this one because honestly it sounds really good. Synopsis has really like drawn me in, and I think that's why I went and bought it in the first place. It was on a Kmart run and I was not planning on buying any books, but I went there and I read and this stood out to me and I was like, nah, I can't leave without this. But ever since then I just have not had the urge to pick it up and read it. And then Quicksilver, the hype, and it is scaring me. I got it, like I said, quite close to when I got this one. Heavily book talk influenced. Main reason why I have been putting this off is because I have obviously has a number 1, so I am guessing that this is going to be a series and that there is more to come. Honestly, I don't know. The main reason I'm putting it off is because I have so many other fantasy series that I am either in the middle of or wanting to start, and I don't want to start one where I have to go and wait for a book to come or go and buy another book, because there is a lot of fantasy series here that I do already have the full series of. For example, Akatar, Throne of Glass, Lightlark, the list goes on. So that was my first duo. While I've got the books, should I just tell you who the winners were? I will put screenshots up so you can see the final poll. Funny thing, I literally had like 10 minutes before my polls were expiring and I went on and had a look at the results, and I had 2 pairs that were draws. So I had 2 pairs that were 50-50 and I was like, oh my God, what do I do? So I quickly messaged my husband and I was like, quick, can you please jump on my reading page and can you just go and vote? And he did. So he was a deciding factor. The winner of this one was Quicksilver. I feel like people could have guessed from the emojis as well, but I feel like this one also, the emojis were very obvious. The next books to choose from: Never Never by Colleen Hoover. I honestly don't know why I got this one. This synopsis just sounds very mediocre to me. It just doesn't there's just nothing on here that makes me want to pick it up. It's pretty much about these two characters, Charlie and Silas, who have this history. They've been best friends ever since they could walk, and they have been in love, what does it say, since the age of 14. And then something happens and they end up becoming total strangers with their memory completely vanished. And now they're actually working together to find out what happened to them and why, as to why their memory was completely wiped. They try to get back together and, you know, pick up where they left off as a couple, but the last line of this sums it up. Forgetting is terrifying, but remembering might be worse. So something's happened there, but I just don't know. It just doesn't, I'm not like, oh my God, I want to find out what happens, you know? The other book to choose from was Blue Sisters by Coco Mellows. This one I really do want to read. This book sounds really good. So basically this is about 4 sisters. One of them actually passes away. Avery, she's a lawyer living in London, the typical elder sister, but she's hiding a secret that could undo her perfect life forever. Bonnie was a boxer, but following a devastating defeat has worked as a bouncer in LA until a reckless act one night threatens to drive her out of the city. Lucky, the rebellious youngest, is a model in Paris whose hard partying ways are finally catching up with her. Then there was Nikki, the beloved 4th sister, whose unexpected death left Avery, Bonnie and Lucky reeling. When a year later the 3 of the sisters reunite in New York to stop the sale of their childhood home, they find that only by returning to each other can they navigate their grief, addiction and heartbreak and learn to fall in love with life again. This just sings to my soul. I want to know what happens, like what has happened to derail so many of their lives. I obviously had my favourite between these two that I wanted to get picked, and I am so grateful it did. So Blue Sisters was the winner between these two, and this is the one that I'll be adding to this reading vlog. The next 2 pairs actually were originally Fucking Wild and Stay. I originally had Stay against Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. I didn't realise until I put up the polls for these books that this is actually a love story. This is the story of Sam and Sadie. It's not a romance, but it's about love. When Sam catches sight of Sadie at a crowded train station one winter morning, he is catapulted back into the brief time they spent playing together as children. Their unique spark is instantly reignited. What comes next is a story of friendship and rivalry, fame and creativity, betrayal and tragedy, perfect worlds and imperfect ones, and ultimately our need to connect, to be loved and to love. So Stay was originally against this, and I was hoping for this, but then there was this other book I have had for quite a while since it came out. Yep, it's now been a movie and a musical, had all the hype, and now it is just getting added to Netflix, and I'm like, I bought it with the intention that I wanted to watch the movie, but I wanted to read the book before I watched the movie, and now it's coming to Netflix. I'm like, I need to read the book, so it has to be thrown into the mix. So when Stay was no longer in the picture, I added Wicked. My preference between these two as to which book I would rather read, I'm leaning towards Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. Insert the poll here. What's the winner? Wicked. Wicked is getting added to this reading vlog. Fucking Wild was originally going to be added into this pair and be up against Say You Swear by Megan Brandy. I honestly did not realise that this was a sports romance. For years I've dreamt of what college life could bring, and while some things changed, there was always one constant. It didn't matter how wild I allowed my imagination to run, my future was clear and he was it, until suddenly he wasn't. Ooh. Now there's a new man in my life, one who isn't afraid to go after what he wants, and what he wants is me. On the front it says, they say first loves last forever, I hope they're wrong. And yeah, I honestly did not really look at the cover properly, but it's obviously about football. I paired the sports romances together. This was originally against Fucking Wild by Emily Rath. This poll here between these 2 books was my other tie. The other book that was in contention is Cross the Line by Simone Soltani, one of the books that has been on my TBR for the longest. I purely just chose this by the cover in the bookstore. I honestly did not even read the back. The cover got me. This one is actually about a Formula 1 driver. His name is Dev. He gets into some sort of social turmoil and he needs an agent to come in and fix up his life and help get him out. So public relations are obviously fixed and well intact. Insert Willow. She is actually Dev's best friend's little sister. That's a trope we love. Anyway, they end up having to work together and then things happen, obviously. It's obvious we could probably guess where this is going. I honestly knew nothing about this one as well. This was my other tie. My husband got this one across the line. The winner out of these 2 and the book that is going to be included in this reading vlog is Cross the Line. Just a little recap of what we'll be seeing. Quicksilver, Blue Sisters by Coco Melos, Wicked by Gregory Maguire, and Cross the Line by Simone Sultani. So there's all the books I will be reading in this vlog. I am obviously going to be reading these in and around my monthly TBR for the month of July. I have got 6 books to read for July, so whenever I feel like picking one of these up, I will be picking up my camera also, and you'll be coming along for the reading experience. I hope you enjoy the video. Happy watching. It is about time that I pick one of these books to start. Just a little recap. I have read Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry, Summer in the City by Alex Astor, Enchantra by Kaylee Smith, and Sable Peak by Devney Perry. I am also currently reading Legendary, which is the second book in the Caravel series. I'm actually quite liking listening to it better than I am reading. Yeah, I just really love the audiobook. I think I'm just gonna keep listening to that as an audiobook for now, but I do want to pick up one of these physical books. Now, I do have 2 other books on my TBR for the month other than these, which is Holding the Reins by Paisley Hope and also my reread of Flawless by Elsie Silver. I want to get stuck into one of these ones because they're 2 cowboy romance, and I can just, if I don't love one of these books, then I think it'll be good because I'll be able to break it up with some cowboy romance, which is obviously my favorite. I mean, I already think I know what book's going to be last, because if I don't read it, I'm not overly mad because I really am avoiding it that much, and that is Wicked. I don't know why, but I just don't, I'm not getting pulled there. Because I'm listening to Legendary at the moment, it might just be too much at the moment with what else I've got going on, so I'm gonna pop that one down as well. And we're gonna decide between Blue Sisters and Cross the Line. I really don't know which one I want to start with. I just don't know. You know what? I think I'm gonna go with Blue Sisters, just because I was thinking about the polls that I made for all of these, and this one was just a clear winner. I feel like this is going to be giving me quite similar vibes to Promise Me Sunshine by Cara Bastone, which I read last month in June, and I loved that. And I just think grief in books is something that is a little bit touch and go, but like Cara Bastone did it so well, and I feel like this is going to be a really good cover of grief as well. We'll start off this reading vlog with Blue Sisters. It is a couple of days later now, but I just wanted to give a little bit of an update. I do have a bit of a manly voice. I am starting to get a little bit sick, I think. Blue Sisters. Didn't love. I'm going to open my Goodreads. It took me so much longer to read that book than it should have. So I told you that I started it on the 8th of July. I didn't read it on the 9th, but then I read it on the 10th, 11th, and finished it on the 12th. It was not a long book at all. I think it was like 316 pages, but I was avoiding it, honestly. How many times am I going to say avoiding in this video? But I was just putting it off. I didn't want to pick it up after I put it down again. Unfortunately, not my favorite book. I had high hopes, but holy crap, these were long chapters. That's my review. I rated it at 2.5 stars. Honestly, I don't really know is there a way that I can kind of see what genre this is? There we go. I was going to say, it honestly felt like I was reading some sort of like biography. Like it felt like very much so literary fiction, and that's exactly what it is. I'm not a big literary fiction fan. And yes, those chapters were incredibly long, like way too long. For example, I think the whole book itself, 316 pages, was only 12 chapters. I remember getting in there and reading like the second or third one, and it was like 37 pages for one chapter, and I was like, usually I would want to pick up a book and just read like a chapter or two, but no. I did not want to pick this one up and read a chapter or two because it took me that long to bloody read one. It was that long. Anyway, like I said, I finished that book. It did take me over 4 days to read it. I finished that one on the 12th of July, and then on the 13th and 14th, I read a book just on my July TBR, and then I am back now. Today's the 16th. So yesterday, the 15th, I started Quicksilver. I don't know. I'm not pulled in as of yet. I feel like there's so many things that are happening. There's so many like tied family complications and lots of things that I'm having to learn, and I don't find, yes, of course we have a glossary of the names and the places at the front, but I find reading this book, the names of places and people are kind of hard to pronounce. I'm like having to think. It's definitely keeping my mind busy, but nothing's giving me that feeling of like, oh my god, I don't want to put it down, or oh my god, I want to know what happens. 26% of the way. So yeah, I'm up to like page 163, and there's over 600 pages in this book, so yeah. Quicksilver update time. I am up to page 290, so I'm literally just less than halfway. I am invested now. I am really liking it. At the start, it was really hard for me to get my head around the wording and the language. Now that I have read quite a bit, I am very, very invested. Today is the 17th of July. It's a Thursday. I have all 3 kids at daycare today, and I am planning to knock out quite a lot of this book today. It's currently 12:30. My morning has been a bit crazy. I actually got the kids off to daycare, and then I went for a run, and then I had to go to the post office, and I also had to go and get some groceries. And then I came home, unpacked the groceries, unpacked the parcel, did a few little things, and then went and had a shower, got dressed and hung out 2 loads of washing while I watched a YouTube video. I just did it on a clothes horse. Actually hadn't had breakfast today. I only had like half a honey sandwich before my run, and that was it. But I had a protein shake on the way home from town, and I was still really hungry, so I made myself my go-to English muffins with butter, Vegemite, avocado and cheese. Delicious. Shredded cheese, of course, so you can put it in the microwave and melt it a little bit. It is a busy day. Like, I have got a lot of things to do on the go. Floors need a good vacuum and mop, so I'm gonna put my headphones in and listen to this book while I do a few jobs around the house. I actually, funnily enough, listened to the audiobook on my run this morning, and I never listen to books when I'm running. I'm always about like the music and that sort of stuff. So I am really liking this book because that is just the proof in the pudding right there. Probably have a lot of listening time today with this book. I'm not gonna have too much time to be able to sit down and actually read it. So, but I do really, really like the audiobook as well. That's one thing I wanted to say, because each time in a chapter when a different character is talking, the voice changes based on that character. Lane could be talking and then you have her voice, and then Fisher will talk, and then Sarah will talk, and then Carrion will talk, etc. And it's just, because it's not dual POV, it is just so nice to have that breakdown in the chapter of the different characters' voices playing whenever they talk. It's something I really enjoy, because I actually haven't really heard that in a book before, an audio book before, should I say. Usually, especially when it's dual POV, it's like the male main character talks throughout all his. He even does the girl voice when she's talking in that chapter, and then we swap over to the females chapter and she does the voice even of the male in that whole chapter, and they swap based on whose chapter it is. So it's really nice to have this book that's just the one POV, but you're still getting all the different characters' voices. I am really liking the audiobook as well. This is just such a seamless read now that I've kind of got my head around it. At the start I was like, oh, I don't know if I am gonna like this, but yeah, I'm definitely liking this now. Has been a little while since I have pulled out my camera for this vlog because I couldn't find my memory card anywhere. And yes, I need to get another one so that I have a backup, but that would have been the whole footage of this vlog. So I have found it now and we have a bit of an update to do because it is now the 23rd of July. I don't know. I don't even know if I filmed something for Cross the Line on my phone. I honestly don't know. I have read and finished Cross the Line by Simone Sultani. I did really like this book. I don't know why I put it off for so long. I just think it's Formula One. Formula One is something that I am not really interested in watching. I do find it quite boring. I did actually really love this book and the drama that come with the sport. I kind of knew that there would be this kind of background drama that goes on as it's a very competitive, very high risk, high stakes, high reward type sport. And I know that there's obviously millions and millions of dollars that goes into this industry. I picked it up and I really liked it. However, there was one part towards the end where it felt like it was implanted into the book, but there was 4 or 5 chapters in a row of Dev's sister's wedding, and it was a Indian cultural celebration over 3 days. Maybe she was trying to honor the religious celebrations and her culture and that sort of stuff, but I do just feel like it was like, oh, I want to get this into the book and show this representation of Indian culture and I want to get it in the book, but it just felt like it was implanted and it was forced into the book. I do just feel like the storyline wasn't benefited from it, if that makes sense. I just felt like it was implanted and it just felt a bit forced and weird. Other than that, I did really like this book and I ended up giving it a 3.75 in the end. I've got a little guest coming. I did put on the wiggles so that I could hope that she would get distracted by the wiggles so that I could just come and do this for 5 minutes. But I have actually also started today on the 23rd the last book for this reading vlog. So I apologize so much that there has not been much reading footage and it's been quite chatty, but so I had lost my memory card, so I unfortunately couldn't actually film. That's another thing I wanted to say. I did listen to the audiobook for probably about 50% of Cross the Line. I thought it was really good. However, when the male character was doing Willow's voiceover, it was so wrong. Just did not do the audiobook any favors. But anyway, I have now moved on and started this morning Wicked, the last book in this reading vlog, and I listened to this on the way home from daycare drop off this morning. So I think I'm up to page 25. Yeah, I'm up to page 25, and can I tell you, this audiobook so far Incredible, incredible. I feel like I'm watching a movie. Like, obviously this is a movie and musical, but I literally feel like I'm in the cinemas and I'm listening to a narrator talk through scenes that are happening before me. Whoever this narrator is for this audiobook, incredible, and I honestly just want to listen to it all. Hopefully I can knock out a little bit more of this today. I'd like to finish this Friday if I could, because I do have another book on my July TBR, just one more book that I do really want to get to. So I'm hoping to finish this relatively quickly. I am home with little one today, so I might not actually get a chance to physically sit down and read this one today, but I might pop my headphones in and listen while I'm mum lifing. Wicked Witch of the West is the witch out of Wizard of Oz. Why did I not know that? Why did I not put that together? Are you saying hello? Hi. Are you taking over? Wicked. Let's talk about Wicked. I'm struggling. I'm really struggling. I know the last time I spoke to you, I probably raved on and on and on about the audiobook. Yes, the audiobook was good in the way that I loved the person that was talking, but I hit about part 2 or 3 of the book and I just lost interest. I was so confused. I had no idea what the hell was going on. None of it made sense to me. It's like she was in school and then all of a sudden she was having an affair with this married man and doing all this conspiracy theory stuff and trying to kill her old teacher or something. Like, I don't even know. It's so confusing. And I was like, no, I'll just give it more. I'll give it more. I'll give it more. I think I got to page like 279. It was just under 60% and I DNF'd. I could not do it anymore. And it's honestly making me not even want to watch the movie. But everyone has said to me like the movie and the musical is so different, but the book, no. Like I said, it's not even making me want to watch the movie. I ended up just DNFing Wicked. Could not take it anymore. I have other books that I want to be reading, so bye. But I wanted to do a quick wrap up on this reading vlog because we are now at the end. All 4 books done. I realized when I was editing all my footage, I never actually gave you my thoughts or rating or anything on Quicksilver. Anyway, we're just going to start from the start and go through my ratings. I've got my phone here because I actually can't remember what I rated one of the books. But Blue Sisters we started off with, unfortunately, not my favorite book in the world. I had high hopes for that one, but it was very different to what I thought it was going to be like and didn't realize that it was actually literary fiction, which is not my favorite genre. So that was a 2.5. Then we moved on to Quicksilver, and this I surprisingly liked. It took me a little while to get into it, and like I've said in this video already, the names of people and places was really hard for me to get my head around. It just did not look like what it sounded like, if that makes sense. Sometimes with fantasy I like to listen to a chapter or two so that I can hear someone else say the names. When they were saying the names, it just did not sound like what was written in front of me. So it took me a little while to wrap my head around it. But once I kind of got the gist about everything that was happening in the end, I really did like it, and I was really like rooting for the 2 main characters. Now aware that there is going to be a second book come out, I'm really intrigued. Let's actually see when that comes out. 18th of November, and it's called Brimstone. Is it going to be about Ceres and Fisher again? Because yeah. Or I just read that synopsis and that makes me so excited. I will be buying that book when that comes out. But back to Quicksilver, I really liked it. There were so many surprises there towards the end as well, like especially with Carrion. He really surprised me. That was something I just not see coming. I was hooked, and I loved all the twists and turns in like the last 100 pages, which is what we love. I'm glad that, you know, there is not that long to wait for the next book, because that was another reason why I was actually putting Quicksilver off, was because I had a feeling I was going to like it, but I know that the next book that's coming out wasn't going to be out for a long time. Yeah, I mean, we're nearly August, so another 3 months to wait now, so that's not too bad. I ended up rating Quicksilver a flat 4, and then I read Across the Line by Simone Sultani. I have given you my thoughts in regards to that one. I really did like it, but I just felt like that part of like the Indian culture, where it was like those 5 chapters towards the end with the wedding and stuff, just felt like that was implanted and like an afterthought. But it just felt like she wanted to get some sort of Indian cultural celebration in there to raise awareness and that sort of stuff about the culture. Yeah, it just felt like it was an afterthought. Well, where can we put this in the book, do you know? That really did drag the rating down for me. Other than that, I did really like it. I liked seeing Dev's struggles and his like will to come back and better himself for himself as a person and also for his career. Yeah, and I just loved that dynamic of best friend's sister, and that there's always was that like spark of romance and everything flying around in the background. I did really like that. But in the end, I ended up giving it a 3.75. I really feel like that could have been a solid 4 if it wasn't for that Indian culture just plopped in the middle. And then obviously the last book for this reading vlog was Wicked, which was a massive fail. I literally wrote in my review, DNF at 60%. So sorry, but I just could not read anymore. Wicked, I'm so sorry, but you were just putting me in a slump. In that period, I think I started it, when did it say? Let me just have a look. So I started it on the 22nd, DNF'd it on the 26th, and there was 2 days during that time where I didn't read at all. So that's only 4 days, and 2 out of the 4 I didn't want to pick up my book. Either gonna slump me or something needed to change. I should have turned the light on from the start. I'm so sorry. It just got really dark in here. It's a really miserable rainy day. Anyway, that is going to be the end of this reading vlog. I hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, I apologize that there wasn't too many reading montages in the end. There was a lot of listening, and there was obviously days where I didn't get to film anything at all when I was reading the book. For example, during Cross the Line, because I lost my memory card. So I'm so sorry. I feel like this has been a bit of a fail. I would love to do a video like this again. Maybe not books that I've been avoiding, but I'll come up with something else. Maybe I'll do like a number generator video where it chooses how many pages I read per day or something for a week. Maybe that might be something that I can do for another reading vlog. Anyway, if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Make sure you like this video if you liked it, and make sure you subscribe to my channel so you can see whenever I am uploading content, and I will talk to you very, very soon. Bye.